Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1, and I'm in a weird spot right now. I'm in my car, and I'm working, but I had to spend some time this morning putting some stuff together on this video. Man, basically when I was making my last video on the weekend, on Saturday in the morning, as I was making it, these damn shootings were happening in El Paso, and then the one on Sunday in Dayton, Ohio. And I'm talking about, August attacks, and I'm basically doing a video at the same time as one's happening. It's crazy. So I kind of switched gears here, and I'm going into talking about the 8/11 connections in the shootings and other things too. But I have so much information. It's overload for me right now. There's too much information, and I can't get it out fast enough. It's amazing. So I'm going to go through a bunch of different things on these different shootings, and how they connect to 8/11. And, what I'm saying is they're encoded to 8/11/19. Excuse me, my throat's a little funky. But I'm not saying that that's necessarily the day of the mega tsunamis I've been talking about. It could be, it's possible, but I'm going to talk to you about what I think is more possible on this day. So anyway, 8/11/19, big day encoded in a lot of the dates I've been talking about for the last year. So it kind of even validates the things I've been talking about and kind of links them all together. So if you really are following this, you'll realize that, this stuff is not by coincidence. And I'm going to show you how this is completely planned. These shooting events are completely planned. And I'm really talking about 8/11 and 8/12, because we're talking about, I've been talking about for a long time, twin births, the birth of the Antichrist, which is Barack Obama, and the birth of the man-child into heaven, which is the bride of Christ, which is the faithful remnant that are following Jesus and listening to him, and the sheep that know his voice. So whether you believe that or not, it doesn't matter. But hopefully you wake up to the truth that, what is coming is going to be massive and massively changing. And so hopefully you understand that. But if you don't, and it starts happening, then realize Jesus is telling you this. He's showing you this ahead of time, because he's working in my heart to bring this out to you, whoever you are. Okay? Man, excuse me here. So August 11th, just to reiterate, is the 223rd day of the year with 142 days left. But I want to point out something that's really important. And I believe, they're talking about 7/7 and showing 7/7 in a lot of different ways. So the 223, the 223rd day, 2 plus 2 plus 3 is 7. Also, with 142 days left from that day in the year, is 142 days, is 1 plus 4 plus 2 is 7. So you're going to see a lot of, or I've shown things about 7/7, and there's a lot of things hidden about 7/7. For example, G is the 7th letter of the alphabet. So there's several GGs. It's weird. But for example, Gilbert Gottfried talked about the Golden Gate Bridge. That's GG. Gilbert Godfrey, GG, said stay off the Golden Gate Bridge. GG. 7/7 said get off 7/7. And that's not a coincidence, okay? And I wanted to speak about that for a second. There's a video that he put up, and he's since deleted, and I saw it right after it came out. And there's a few things I want to talk about real quick about that. So he speaks in code. It's very obvious. He said San Francisco, things like that. And that's what they do in me. And I've shown many times in media and stuff. And I'm going to show it on this video how this is all scripted. This is all fake. It's all to put out these ideas and this predictive programming for what's coming, the attacks and everything. So Gilbert Gottfried, it's not a coincidence as well that he's talking about this day, and then 80 days before, which was May 23rd, which is the mirror. So on May 23rd, actually May 22nd, 23rd, and I'm talking about August 11th and 12th. The mirror of August 11th and 12th is May 22nd, 23rd, which you have, like, for example, on May 22nd, you have, it's the 142nd day of the year with 223 days left. And on May 23rd, well, just before that, but about May 23rd, Roseanne Barr, who's another Jewish Kabbalist, just like Gilbert Gottfried is. And, you know, I don't know why they're sharing this stuff. Maybe they feel like maybe their careers are almost over and they feel like they have to, you know, maybe they were picked. I mean, they were definitely picked by, you know, the Luciferian global elites to put out these messages. But Roseanne Barr did a false message in a way. She was talking about, you know, the day of the bonfire. The Jewish Day of Bonfire, which escapes me the name of it. Anyway, I'm sure a lot of people are going to talk about or comment about that. And then 80 days later is Gilbert Gottfried talking about this, you know, stay off the Golden Gate Bridge. So that's not a coincidence. They're 80 days apart, which is 8. And I'm going to talk about 8s as well as 7s. So just I want to talk about that for a second. So he talks about San Francisco and, you know, corpses, and, you know, he said corpse or whatever he said, and that's gematria. Whenever they say these kind of things, it's gematria. It's how they communicate. Kabbalists believe in the kind of the unification of numbers and letters, and then so they in letters, in words, they have numbers, and that's what gematria is kind of based on. So the 7-7, also Gilroy Garlic Festival, GG, as another one, and there's a lot of things going on with that, and you can pick out a lot of different things that happen with that as far as pointing to 8/11, and I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to focus on these last ones and going into some other stuff. So but I want to mention that real quick because that's been kind of put out there as well. So August 3rd through 11th, okay, so August 3rd was when the shooting was at the Walmart, the El Paso shooting, but from the 3rd through the 11th is 8 days. Okay, and now I'm saying these are kind of based on twins, so it's 2 days, 2 events. You know, Tish B'Av is the destruction of 2 temples. I'm talking about twin births, the 2 or the 11, 1 and 1, all this stuff. Okay, so August 4th, which was the next day, which was the Dayton, Ohio shooting, through the 12th is 8 days. So we have 88. Okay. Also, God, I could do another video as well, but this might be my last. I hit the horn on accident. This might be my last video. Also, between those 80 days that Roseanne Barr talked about May 23rd, and then Gilbert Gottfried talking about 8/11. You also have what I believe Leviticus 12 in the Bible talks about is the when a man child is born, you have 7 days. On the 7th day, he's circumcised, which is the 8th day. Barack Obama was born supposedly on August 4th. So this August 4th that he was supposedly turned 58, which is a lot to 58. It's crazy. But 8 days later is August 12th. Okay. And so you see the August 4th to August 12th right here. And that's the 8. And then go back 80 days to May 23rd when there's an article in the Atlantic saying that they're waiting for Obama. You can look it up. I could put all this out, but there's too much. I have to talk about some of this right now because all the stuff I just said about Gilbert Gottfried and all this stuff, it requires me putting it all together. And so I'm going to talk about this for a second. 80 days before that, May 23rd, the Atlantic put out, waiting for Obama. Then they said he was more popular than Jesus Christ. You can look that up. Anyway, and that was 80 days before before 8/11, this one here. Okay, and so we have 8 days before August 12th is the 8, and then we have 80 days before August 11th, which was May 23rd. The Atlantic basically saying we're waiting for the Antichrist because he's a savior because he's more popular than Jesus, pointing to him be a savior. That was very obvious to me. So we're talking about, and then in Leviticus 12, if you read that, it talks about the man-child, and then on the 8th day of circumcised, they can be presented into the temple, and then the female birth is basically a total of, from the woman being unclean for a certain amount of days, you add that up, and I think it's 14 days, and then it's 66 days, so a total of 80 days. So Barack Obama is basically a feminine spirit and, in a sense, a masculine person, because he's a male figure, even though he's a man and a beast both. So he basically fulfills both 80 days before August 11th, which is 8, because 80 is, take the 0 off, is 8, and then 8 days before August 12th, which is 8 days for the male child. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So that's important. I just could have done a bunch of slides on all that stuff, but this ties into right here, and I don't have the time. I've got to get this out to you. So that is huge for what I'm talking about, Barack Obama being the Antichrist, and why 88 is important, or 88. It's also time travel. The 88 represents, you know, in Back to the Future, the DeLoreans go to 88 miles an hour, and that's the portal going in time and all this kind of stuff. What I'm saying is, you know, what I've said many times is that we're talking about the portal. We're talking about the transition of times here. We're talking about going from one age to the next age. The New Age calls it from the fourth age to the fifth age, which is the going through the Golden Gate, or going to the fifth age, which is the age of Chronos, or the Golden Age. Another way of saying it. Why this Golden Gate into the Golden Age. So that's all coming here. And whether it's on August 11th or just after that, like I'm saying, possibly August 22nd and 23rd, because it may be a smoke screen. By the way, like I said, Gilbert Gottfried and Roseanne Barr, you know, what they both said 80 days apart from each other, you know, this is smoke and mirrors in a sense, but it's also pointing to the actual day. So, you know, there may be something to that. But also, Roseanne Barr did say that the fire and everything, which had to do with that Jewish holiday, and I cannot think of what it's called now. The Omer. I can't think of what it's called. Anyway, but there were fires in Israel on the 22nd and 23rd, like I said, of May. And so she basically, that happened. So Gilbert Gottfried could be pointing to the Golden Gate Bridge, and that something else could happen in San Francisco. And by the way, there's so much stuff in about San Francisco I have, and Golden Gate Bridge and all kinds of stuff I can talk about, but I just don't have the time. I want to hit this, so let me keep going here. So El Paso shooting and Dayton shooting, again, Saturday and Sunday. You got Saturn Day and the Sun God Day, so that's why it's Saturday and Sunday. Again, the twins, we got the twin shootings. Okay, and El Paso, the first report started coming in, 1 person dead and 18 injured or something like that, or 1 person injured and 18 dead, something like that. And then it was 1 person in custody and then 19 injured or 19 dead, something like that, which is just crazy. So you got 118 and 119, which is 9/11 backwards. But what's crazy about these is they both had the same amount of injured for a while. It eventually changed, but at one point they were the same amount of injured, which is 2 + 6 is 8, and 2 + 6 is 8. So you have 8 again. Like I said, that's not by coincidence. If you believe in lots of coincidences, well, that's unfortunate for you. But, you know, with these massive amount of coincidences, so-called, it doesn't make any sense. It's mathematically impossible that you can have all these coincidences lining up with each other. It's the probabilities are off the charts on things I'm talking about right now, and what things I'm going to talk about. Okay, man, this was crazy. There's so much in this imagery and things, but you have these, you know, these armed guys here. I think they were FBI or who knows what they were exactly, but you know, they have these pictures where they're in front of the Hooters, and there was stuff going on with this. I'm going to break down a few things here. So we have, you know, they're right in front of the Hooters, which immediately to me it stuck out. You got the owl, you got Molech, the owl Molech that they're showing, and he can see you. And then look at the Hooters, and one light is out, so it's like winking. You know, you got the one eye looking at you in a sense. You know, these things are all staged. And I'm going to show you so many ways this stuff's staged, and all these numbers and things that are, you know, encoded in these things. It's pretty crazy. And one right there underneath the owl is right here, 117. And I'm going to show you what that means exactly. But 117 is very important. It's, you know, it's linked to 118 or 811, August 11th or 11th of August, however you want to look at it. But notice here, now, this is crazy. How does this relate to what's going on here? Well, look at that. I just added that. Shooters. These guys are shooters. But even more importantly, the preliminary things that came out about this were that there were 4 shooters in black. There were 4 shooters in black. That's what came out. And there's been several accounts with these shootings where there are multiple shooters, and then it was reduced down to one patsy, one person that they pinned it all on. Like it's been done so many times in history, it's you can't count them all. I don't think. It's just pretty crazy. But there were 4 shooters in black that were reported initially, and then they scrubbed that out. What happened to that? That just disappeared, and then they pinned it on one particular guy, you know, who's basically young, military. Basically, he's a MK Ultra. You know, clone of, you know, that they're basically got mind controlled, and he's the fall guy. Whether they have him, you know, kill himself or take the fall for this in some other way in the future. So this is crazy. And then like this S that I added. Let me go back a little bit. This S right here, go from Hooters to Shooters, is 19. Okay, so S is the 19th letter of the alphabet. So again, by this not even being there and this having to do with shooters, I mean, why is Hooters right there showing several pictures? Because of the 117 there, several things, because these guys are, you know, they're showing this military. We're talking about martial law, we're talking about a lot of things that are coming, and they're showing a lot of things in all these pictures. It's crazy. So this S that was missing here is 19, which is also, again, 11 plus 8 is 19. So you have the 118, again, 11th of August, again, is shown so many times. And you have to see beyond, in a sense, what is, or see into what's presented to you, okay? And that's what the Lord's showing me. Jesus is making this stuff available to me and showing me with his eyes. And he said he would years ago. He would show me things with his eyes, and things that are going on. So and now as far as how it's exactly interpreted by me, you know, that's who knows. But he's showing me things at times, and I don't get it all right. Nobody's perfect, but I'm showing you all this stuff so you can be aware and be on your alert, and hopefully get closer to him, and hopefully wake up to the truth that's right in front of your face. Okay, so shooters just happens to be simple gematria 119, which, you know, is backwards, which they like to do things backwards and upside down, or just upside down, or just backwards. But it's 9/11, of course, shooters. And that's just a coincidence. It's a massive coincidence. And so I'm talking to you about coincidence upon coincidence upon coincidence. It just keeps going forever and ever. If you believe that, it's just not true. It's all planned, as you'll see. Okay, so why is that important? Well, down here, the 7 months and 11 days from, you know, starting on the first day of the month, first day of the year to August 11th is 223 days. So that's 7 months and 11 days. And that's why the 11-7 underneath the owl was important for them to show, because 8/11 is 7/11. Okay, because it's 7 months and 11 days into the year, which is also 223, which is 223rd day of the year. Okay, then we have, now I zoomed into this picture where these guys are walking. The Hooters was over here, and then look at this. You have this RR29. Okay, I just separated them because it's the way how they present things. So the way they presented this with RR29 is you can do it 2 ways, really. So in one way, of course, R equals 18 is the 18th letter of the alphabet. So with 2 R's, you have 18 plus 18, which is 36, and then 3 plus 6 equals 9. And then you take the 29, is 2 plus 9 equals 11. And then so you take the 9 and the 11, it's 9/11. So they're saying it one way, but the way that this is done, again, it can be done another way. So again, the R's equal 18, so you have 1 plus 8 in this way is 1 plus 8 is 9, and 1 plus 8 is 9, and then 9 plus 9 is 18. So that's one section of just the R's, because it's separated by having just letters and then just having just numbers. And then 2 plus 9 is 11, so you take the 18 and the 11 down here. So then this one, then they turn backwards. So again, I've shared many times how ones can be slashes or ones, and they've done this so many times. I've shown it so many times, it's ridiculous. So that backwards is 8/11. Okay, so it's showing it's the second 9/11, which is 8/11. Okay, moving on. Now the shooting was done at Walmart, the one on the 3rd, August 3rd, and it just happens to equal 88 in simple gematria. It's just another coincidence upon coincidence. Yeah, right. Okay, and then this is crazy, really crazy. So the Walmart Supercenter where this happened in El Paso was 7/1/01. Now, like I said, the 7th month, 11th day of the year is 8/11. Okay, and it was on Gateway Boulevard. Gateway, wow, that's interesting. When I first saw that, I'm like, Gateway? You mean, immediately hit me, portal, Gateway. I mean, that's what these guys are into. That's what they're showing all over the place. And if you don't know that, let me show you. So Gateway, and I've learned in the last few months to use a lot more ciphers, a lot more types of gematria to show more intricacy of what they're doing and drive it more home. And so these last few videos, I've shown more of this instead of just doing Jewish gematria and simple and English and some other stuff. It's crazy. So look at Gateway, for example, right here. Gateway is 8228282828. Just the fact of all these matching like this, either being 82 or 28, is impossible. It is so many. I don't know what it is. It's in the quadrillion. It's past quadrillions. I don't know. I don't even know. I mean, I have no idea how to even figure that. But I understand with my brain that can understand this stuff. Some people, the numbers go way above their head. A lot of people in certain ways, especially this kind of stuff. And so I'm just telling you, for these all to match, for one to match is crazy, and then all these to match each other, and then this one's just backwards. And again, this is 8/2 or 2/8. So 2 is 1 and 1. So it's 8/1/1 or 8/11 or 11/8. That's what these are showing. Okay, but it doesn't stop there. There's more with Gateway. Look at this. So now we have even more ciphers, and there's an 8/2 over here, and there's a 2/8 here in Jewish, ordinal, and reduction. Now, for example, there's different ways that they do things. For example, on full reduction, I've explained this before. Let's say, so A equals 1, B equals 2, like in normal simple gematria. But when you get into full reduction, like for example, like K would be 11 and L would be 12, but with K, 11 becomes 1 plus 1, so that becomes 2 instead. So there's just different ways that they do this. They came up with all this stuff. I'm just pointing all this out because they communicate to each other, and then they put this in front of you like sheep or like cattle. They look at you as, and they're programming you to the next events that are happening, and you'd accept these things, and they get some kind of spiritual power out of it and other things. It's very complicated to explain what they get from this, but they do this for a reason. It's spiritual, it's emotional, it's subconscious, it's so many things. And then we have, of course, 3/5 or 5/3 over here, like crazy, 4 times here. And again, that's 8. So they're about the 8. I was talking about the 8. It's just crazy. Or the 8/8, which is the Gateway. Okay, now check this out. Gateway often refers to a gate or portal. A portal in science fiction and fantasy, a magical or technological doorway that connects 2 locations, worlds, or points in time. And so this is all coincidence? That 7101 Gateway Boulevard this is just all a coincidence that this points to all this? I think not. Okay, next. I noticed this recently, yesterday. Trump said Toledo when he was talking about the El Paso shooting, and then the media jumped on and they're like, oh, what an idiot and all this stuff. And there's probably a bit of a news cycle about him saying Toledo. He said it for a reason. Hello. So, for example, here, this is 8 again. By the way, Trump is 8-8 in simple gematria. Trump is 8-8, and he's the president of this time of the portal, of this transition time. So Trump is 8-8. His full name is 888. He's all kinds of stuff. It's crazy, but he said this on purpose. And there's more here. Check this out. So we have these 8s. So we have 7 plus 1 is 8. 2 plus 6 is 8. Single reduction. 2 plus 6 is 8. And then we have these. Oh, imagine that again. There it is again. 2 8, or 2 is 1 1. So 1 1 8 and 1 1 8, for example. But that's all just massive coincidence. Massive coincidence. No. All right, and then here's another part of this shooting in El Paso. 2 children, ages 2 and 9. Again, that's backwards is 9. 2, which is also 9. 11. 2 is 1 and 1. Were transferred from the former El Paso Children's Hospital, and now there might even be something in El Paso Children's Hospital. I mean, I can't study every single tiny little thing. It takes forever. There's so much here. But I'm just going to hit you the main points which I found. And their conditions were stabilized. The Del Sol Medical Center patients were 35 to 82 years old. Now, this is crazy, okay? Literally, they probably went to this up here. And they're doing all this, and again, this is demonically inspired, okay? But people are involved at some point, and I don't know how much most people don't know really what's going on completely. The higher you get to the top, the more you're aware. But ultimately, everybody's duped, even to the top, for what the enemy, the devil, is doing to people. So he's the one that's in full awareness of the spirits that are involved in this. And then as it goes down the top of the pyramid, then more and more people are less and less aware. Okay, but look at this. You got 2 8s and 3 5. 2 8 and 3 5. And I'm showing all these. And then they just happen to pick 35 to 82. And no, it matches this. For this, all this stuff I'm talking about to all match is just impossible. I mean, it's off the charts impossible. So if you do any of the math on this, it gets to a point before you even get into all these other things, and when you just start to get to some of the things I'm talking about, it gets in a realm of impossibility already, and then we're adding impossible upon impossible upon impossible upon impossible. It's just crazy. So anyway, keep going here. So Beto O'Rourke responds to Walmart shooting in El Paso. The Reunification Center for Families is located in MacArthur Middle School at 8101 Woodis Drive in El Paso. 8101, so 811. Again, zeros don't matter in gematria. So 811 again, okay? This is crazy. And then what stuck out to me immediately is the Reunification Center for Families. I mean, are you kidding me? That sticks out like a sore thumb. I mean, if you look at things at all, like I'm looking at things, it just sticks out. And then gematria is going to stick out. I just knew that was going to be something. But first, I want to look at Beto O'Rourke. This guy, literally, he had a press conference, and he's supposedly in the area. He probably lives in the area, or that's his main home. And this is all contrived as well. And then he later said, I don't want Trump coming here, and because you have to have this whole thing for the to keep people interested, with the politics, and the world stage, it's got to be a soap opera and everything. And that's what all you people that are watching this, that think Trump is, your good guy and everything, and Q and all that, man, you are so, oh my god, bamboozled. It's just crazy. But here's another example, and I'm proving it. Literally, this guy starts smiling when he's talking about this tragedy, and here's the proof right there. And I know body language. I've been a salesperson for over 25 years, and I'm even in a business right now where I deal with people every single day, and I know them. I read them every day. I know what's going on. This guy was trying to do a straight face, he was trying to be sad, and he just started losing it. He started smiling inappropriately, and it was just so crazy. And it shows me for sure that this guy, I mean, I already know that what all this stuff is, because I've seen it years and years ago. And each time I dive more and more into this intricate web of lies and deceit that is the media, it just sticks out more and more. This guy starts smiling, and then he just had to kind of compose himself and look down and get himself together. So, because he was starting to think this was funny. because it's just a sham. It's a complete sham. And here he is smiling. Anyway, back to the Reunification Center for Families, which is 322. Imagine that. Another coincidence. Like I said in my last video, 322 is Skull and Bones. It's also backwards 223, which is 8/11, the day of death. Okay, it's forecasting the day of death that's coming. Now, like I said, I don't know exactly when that day is, but I'm speculating. You know, that's my theory at this point, my latest theory about what may be happening. But as you can see, everything, so many things are pointing to 8/11 or 11/8, which is 11th of August or August 11th, whatever. Okay, and 12th, I'm saying as well, because it's a 2-day attack day that I've said about these mega tsunamis that are coming eventually. Now I'm going to talk about what I think might be coming on 8/11 here pretty soon. So, and then this was the next day, Sunday, the Dayton, Ohio shooting. This is weird. At Ned Pepper's. Okay, why are these shoes all laying there? Is that supposed to like freak people out? It seems like some kind of weird psychological thing. It doesn't do anything for me, but I would think that what my brain says is this is supposed to make people afraid or freak people out or something. You got the tape across there. This is all psychological warfare, people. I mean, why the heck would there be a pile of shoes? People didn't take off their shoes before they went in. What, they take off their shoes of their dead bodies? I mean, and pile them there? I mean, it's just really bizarre. And whatever the explanation is, it doesn't make any sense to me. A sane, rational person, logical person who has the Spirit of God inside of him, it doesn't make any sense. It just says, freak people out, do weird pictures with their symbolism and everything, and their gematria, which is Ned Pepper's. So let's go to Ned Pepper's. Ned Pepper's, ooh, what a surprise. Symbol gematria is 118. It just keeps going and going. It just keeps going and going. It's like a really bad dream that keeps haunting you, or this, it's just crazy. You know, I'm presenting this stuff to you because I care about all of you, whether you're, you know, a child of God or not, and I hope you will come to Christ at some point and wake up to the truth. And hopefully it's not after all this cataclysm happens, but there's still even possibles, there's even hope for you after that. But I'm trying to put this in your brain so you can see this is all contrived. This is all ridiculously sewn in front of your face to get you to believe that this, you know, these false narratives. Okay, so 118. Then this happened in Dayton, Ohio, which is in Jewish ordinal, it's 118 again. There's a breakdown there. I mean, this is just going and going and going. Okay, and it's funny how the gunman, they were saying about the gunman, I couldn't remember exactly where I saw it, but he had 223 ammo, which is he had an AR-15, and they said, oh, 223 ammo and all this stuff several times. I saw in articles. 223 ammo, really? Again, 223rd day of the year is August 11th. Now, this is really crazy. I've talked about this, and I talked about this around Black Friday of last year, about this ad that Walmart put up, Light Up Black Friday. Okay, and of course they're using lights right here. It's Light Up Black Friday, but it's a smoke screen to what they're really saying. So what they start saying, so yeah, Light Up Black Friday, and wait, let me go back to here. Well, I'll wait for a second. You know, yeah, have these guys dancing and they're lit up in the dark, and that's Light Up Black Friday, right? No, what they're really saying is light it up, and they're singing Light It Up Black Friday, light it up. And you can watch the video, look it up, Light Up Black Friday Walmart commercial. I might even put the link in the description box if you want to watch the sickeningness of it all. But it's Light It Up Black Friday, not Light Up Black Friday. See, they're singing Light It Up, and when I heard that, my discerning brain and my discerning spirit said, light it up. That's not light up, that's light it up. And that told me something. And then I pulled it up in the Urban Dictionary. Top definition of light it up in the Urban Dictionary is direct a lot of machine gun fire at it. And I'm a child of the movies, and I've seen it 1,000 times. Light it up! You know, light it up, light it up. And a lot of you have, or heard it and don't realize it because it's in your subconscious. But that's what they're trying to say. That's what they're saying. Not trying to say. They're saying, light it up. Machine gun fire. So basically Walmart in this ad is, you know, saying ahead of time There will be attacks in Walmarts with machine gun fire. There just will be. They're saying at that time. That's what I said way back then I think right around that time, I did a video about that. You can look back on my channel and see that, and look at that video and that breakdown, which I recommend you do, because it has everything to do with the Walmart shooting. And there's a Walmart shooting just after that, and then this one as well. Let me show you how that this video about this Walmart ad relates to this current El Paso shooting that just happened. Well, first, let me show you this. At the end, they stop and go, you know, and look, there's a guy with a machine gun, or doing the hand things of his machine gun, a machine gun over here. He's using his arm as a machine gun too, but they're like sitting there shooting. And then these guys have their hands up. No, don't shoot. No, don't shoot. And this guy looks like he's military. He's got a big gun. He's like, you know, he's like a big machine gun. So this is martial law coming. This is also these shootings. It's a multifaceted, multi-layered, just like iPad Go, things I've been talking about. This is multi-layered. You got to see into what they're saying, what they're showing. You got to see into it. These things are for reasons that these guys are doing this. Okay, and it immediately went, what? When I watched this, I'm like, what? Why are they doing those? I mean, yeah, I know why. Okay, and then here, let me show you something else. Look, 11, then they go 11:22, 11:22, 11:22. Ooh. Anyway, and then down here is the upside down. You kind of like in Stranger Things, you have the upside down, and it's the reflection of that. As above, so below, right? A lot of spiritual meaning to all that stuff. The upside down, as above, so below, all that. You got the dark, you know, the dark underbelly here, right? But look. Now, this is crazy when I found this. So I'm going to show this backwards, but up here at the top. Now look it up there. You have 817. So again, 8. So right here, 817. You have 8 and 1 and 7 is 88. Okay, you can group those together. 88. I'm just telling you that's what this is. So believe it or not, 88, and then you have 711. So you have the 88 on, or the portal. Remember, Back to the Future, 88 miles per hour going to the portal. Or what they're showing, 88, the Antichrist. I told you he's born showing both male and female. 80 days before and 8 days before. Barack Obama, Antichrist, and in the portal it starts at 7th month, 11th day, which is August 11th. Bam, there it is. And I got even more. So now, when I was watching this thing, this stupid ad from Walmart, light it up Black Friday, light it up. November 22nd, they were showing, and they said they said 11:22, 6 p.m. You know, which there's more than that. But and then Black Friday is not 11:22. Black Friday was 11:23, but it started on like a lot of these silly businesses are now doing. They're doing it on Thanksgiving, so it started on Thanksgiving, which was 11:22, and then but it's about Black Friday because that's the holiday, so-called, or the shopping holiday or whatever, and that's 11:23. So, but at first, let's look at 11:22 to the shooting at Walmart on August 3rd that just happened in El Paso. Look, 254 days. Like I said on my last video, what was 254? Well, I thought I had this right here. That's weird. But 254, the 254th day of the year is, guess what? It was 9/11. September 11th is the 254th day of the year. That's what they're showing here. Also, what they're showing as well is because, remember I said that the actual day that they're advertising is Black Friday, so that was on November 23rd. You go to August 3rd, and you now get 8 months and 11 days. 8/11. It just keeps going non-stop. So that's another coincidence upon coincidence upon coincidence? I think not. Can you believe this? This is just off the charts. I got more. I've got more. So then, now I've thought about the mosque shootings, and I've looked into the Christchurch mosque shootings and things, and especially in regards to some more things, because some things were connecting. Again, the twin shootings and all that. Okay. I gotta pause this for a second. I got some guys hanging out right by me here. 1 second. All right, so the mosque shootings in Christchurch. Now, first thing is how these connect. This is crazy. They connect in many ways. So the mosque shootings, again, you have mosque, which is Muslim, and then you have in Christchurch, which is Christian, or it's the destruction of Islam and Christianity is what they believe. Again, the letter from Albert Pike to Mazzini was about the three world wars, and the third world war is designed to destroy, the Christians and the socialists slash communists, and even the Islamic religion, to make way for the pure light of Lucifer, is what they said. Okay, so and again, it was two mosques, so you have the twin thing again, two mosques, and then Christchurch. So you got to have the two different religions. Okay, and it was in New Zealand during Friday prayer on March 15th, the Ides of March. The attacks began at Al Noor Mosque in the suburb of Rekart, whatever, at 1:40 p.m. and continued to Linwood Islamic Center at about 1:55. So much in that. Anyway, so this is really important because there was two mosques that were attacked in Christchurch. Okay, and then we have the Linwood Center is located at 223A Linwood Avenue. Again, 223, August 11th. There it is again. And then even more, the zip code there in Christchurch was 8011. Can you believe that? Again, 811 again. So these twin shootings that we just had this last weekend are also kind of referring to these as well, and these to them, and all these to 811 or 118. It keeps going and going. It's just really crazy. And then March 15th is when the shooting happened. Well, what's substantial about March 15th? Well, it's the Ides of March. And let me give you a little bit of insight if you don't know about this. So Gaius Julius Caesar, dictator of Rome, is stabbed to death in the Roman Senate house by 60 conspirators led by Marcus Junius Brutus and Gaius Cassius Longinus, whatever. Of these, and then let me just summarize. He was assassinated on March 15th, 44 BC. Man, 40, so much in 44. Barack Obama was 44th president. Anyway, by a group of conspirators who believed that his death would lead to the restoration of the Roman Republic. However, the result of the Ides of March was to plunge Rome into a fresh round of civil wars, out of which Octavian, Caesar's grandnephew, would emerge as Augustus, the first Roman Empire. So the Ides of March are pointing to Augustus. Okay, there's so much in this, and I can't get into all of it, but Augustus. So the shooting that was on March 15th, which is Ides of March, is pointing to August, even still in that way, in history. It's crazy. And also, you take the March 15th, the Ides of March, to August 11th, you got 149 days. Well, what's significant about that? Skull and bones again, in simple gematria, 149. Pretty crazy. Skull and bones just keeps popping up. And again, that was Bush, Skull and Bones, both Bushes, 9/11, all that kind of stuff. Okay. And then this New Zealand gunman, he said, subscribe to PewDiePie moments before a live stream shooting happened. And he live streamed that shooting. Why did he pick PewDiePie? Well, this is why. So Felix Arvid, whatever his name is, better known online as PewDiePie, is a Swedish YouTuber, actor, comedian, gamer, commentator, best known for his YouTube video content, which mainly consists of comedic formatted shows. Anyway, so why he pointed to this guy, the shooter, the Christchurch shooter, was October 24th, the age of this guy, or the birth of this guy, his birthday. Now why? Well, March 15th, the Ides of March, when he actually did the shooting, to October 24th, the birth of PewDiePie, is 223 days. Man, this just keeps going. Here's more. Now, this was pointing also to what was going to happen later, and that was March 15th, right? And then we have April 15th, the next month on the 15th. Just happens to be. By the way, there's been several events that have happened on the 15s this year, and even I think last year. And 15 is 555. Zionism is easily coded as 555, or 555 is 15, 5 plus 5 plus 5, 15, 1 plus 5 is 6. Another way of looking at it is they believe in the 23, 23, and 23, which is how many chromosomes you get from each parent, and then with the mark of the beast, there'll be another set of 23 chromosomes, which is 69. But if you take 23, 23, and 23, 2 plus 3 is 5, 2 plus 3 is 5, 2 plus 3 is 5, and you have the 555 again, or the 15. So that event was pointing to this event. And again, remember I said Christ Church, which is Christianity, and then the mosque, which is Islam. And then we have this. Do you remember hearing about this? You know, this is also an iPad Go. When the Antichrist is revealed, I've shared as well, and other people have shared. He has a crown of thorns on the head, which is really the barbed wire, and then it disappears and then the cathedral behind him dissolves, but in his eyes are fire. Okay, and so this is the fire. This is the day of the fire at Notre Dame, and then at the same day, which is another coinky-dink. Another coincidence, right? On top of coincidence, on top of coincidence. The two huge religious figures for each religion, religious places for each religion, were on fire on the same day. Not in my world. I mean, in the world I live in, the fake world, but not in the real world would that happen. No, it's, again, this is all planned. And when you look at each event, you can see things that don't add up and don't make sense. How are all the relics and things taken out of Notre Dame before it completely burned down? And again, there's a guy that supposedly saved the supposed crown of thorns, original crown of thorns that Jesus had before it burned down, and then there was a crown of thorns over the Antichrist figure and iPad goat. That's all, you know, that all equates as well. It's crazy. But why is this significant in a date as well? How is it significant to 8/11, August 11th? Well, from that day, April 15th, to August 11th, was 11/8, or 118 days difference, pointing to that again. So this is becoming super significant here. If you can't see this by now, it's really crazy. Okay, so there's more. So, as I said in my last video, Tish B'Av is Saturday, August 10th and 11th in our time here, basically. So, what's really important now, whatever happens on this day, which I think it might not be exactly what they say it's going to be, which could be the destruction of the Golden Gate Bridge, other things that they kind of forecast here. But I think what's really important is that something that will relate to this, which is Eid al-Adha. I should have practiced how to say this. Eid al-Adha will begin in the evening of Saturday, August 10th, and Sunday, August 11th. The end of the evening of August 11th. And these match up exactly. Tish B'Av and this, which is another way of saying, this is also called the Festival of Sacrifice, is the second of two Islamic holidays celebrated worldwide each year and considered the holier of the two. So this is their most holy festival. I mean, it's the most holy. It honors the willingness of Abraham to sacrifice his son as an act of obedience to God's command. So it's also called the Festival of Sacrifice. Okay, so this is their most holy day, according to this. It's celebrated worldwide. So something tells me if these two match like this, and this is, I don't know when they match last, but this is a big deal for this timing, which is all these things are pointing to August 11th, and then this happens to match this. Well, why is that important? Well, because of all the signaling of the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock and everything. Now, let me show you this. Festival of Sacrifice in reverse single reduction is 118. Another massive coincidence. Massive coincidence. I mean, are you kidding me? How does this relate to all those other ones we're talking about? Because the people behind all this, the Luciferian global elites, are behind language. Lucifer came up with the English language as a bastardization of many other languages, which has its roots in Latin and that kind, and other things, and even in Hebrew and Greek and things like that. So English was designed by Lucifer so he could do all this. And why are there 26 letters in the alphabet. Why? Because it was designed that way, so it meets all these different things that they needed to meet. And why was the calendar, the Gregorian, made the way it was, and all that kind of stuff? It's all for their devices. Okay, and literally, the Gregorian calendar in many ways makes no sense. It only makes sense if it's designed for their image, or for their messaging and their timings and all that kind of stuff. That's the only way it makes sense. With understanding all the stuff about gematria, it actually makes sense. And how they do all these false flag events, it makes sense. I just want to throw this in there. A Palestinian man throws his child in the air following morning prayers on the first day of, however you say that, at Al-Aqsa, Jerusalem on August 2018. To show you that, hey, this was in August last year, but it's exactly on August 11th this year. So I think something's going to happen, more likely on that holy day, to really inflame Muslims. Okay, so I don't know about, maybe something in San Francisco, maybe the Golden Gate Bridge, that's possible. But I think more likely, again, this is all possibility. I'm not saying what's going to happen, because I don't know. I don't know their brains. I don't know their plans. I don't get invited to their meetings, and I wouldn't go anyway. But I don't know. And so all I can do is sit on the outside with limited resources, limited information, really limited resources. I'm sitting here in the middle of the day in my car, in my job, doing this for you. Seriously, I don't get paid for this. I'm not like some of you people that get paid, some of the YouTubers that get paid or get donations, or, they make tons of money and all that. I don't have any of that stuff, and I'm not complaining whatsoever. I'm just saying, here I am sitting in my car in the middle of a parking lot doing this on my phone because I care about you people, because I care about, your salvation, and your salvation of your spirit and your soul and even your body. I don't want you to be destroyed, if you're in California when something happens, or you're on the East Coast when something happens, these mega tsunamis or whatever. I don't know exactly what's going to happen and when, but I can tell you I know what's going to certain things that are going to happen, but I don't know their timetable and the order of things necessarily. So this just came out. In fact, I pulled this within a minute when it came out. It's really crazy. International latest news at that time on the 1st of August. So I've been trying to, I would like to get some of this stuff out a lot sooner, but I can't, because I have a family. Like I said, I have twins, I have 2 other children and a wife, and this job and everything. So I'm trying to get this stuff out. All I'm doing is making a point. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I'm making a point that, I'm stopping my life many times so I can get this stuff out and do this stuff. And the lead up time and the time it takes to put all this stuff together is just, it's pretty crazy, and I don't like it. But I do end up spending time with my family to some degree and all that stuff. But right now, this is important for people's lives. Please understand that. Please understand that you need to see this stuff. So anyway, ISIS warns of terror strikes in San Francisco, New York, and London. And I could not believe when I saw this. I kind of believed it, and I was been sharing about an iPad Goat on the chalkboard in the classroom. In an iPad Goat, it says evil, which is love backwards, and then it says T, the space, and then T, and then N. And I've said that it looks like it's London, Tokyo, New York, and Tokyo can even be turned to the side and make it Hawaii as well. But it's kind of crazy that this is talking about this. And so this is all synced, this stuff here, with this ISIS, this latest ISIS warning, and these posters that they put out are completely synced to 8/11. So listen, big things could happen. It could be the mega tsunamis, but the mega tsunamis, or a big attacks would be the next 9/11. Or it could be some things happen, and then like I'm saying, possibly 11 days later, even at the most 13 days later, because it's on the Julian calendar, might be their actual calendar they're going by. And there's a lot of reasons why I'm saying 11 days instead of 13 on the Julian calendar. People said, 13 days. Yeah, that's what they tell you. That's what the Catholic Church came out in 1572 or whatever it was, saying that the current calendar, Julian calendar, was off by 10 days. But I think they lied. I think they are liars. I think the Catholic Church are a bunch of liars as far as the church itself. I'm not talking about individual people that are trying to be good and all that. I'm talking about the Catholic Church itself is a completely lying, evil entity. That's the serpent's head. But they put that out, and I think it was actually, they weren't saying the truth about how many days it was off, and then you add 3 days to that to get to 13 at this time of, this time frame basically. But anyway, this is crazy. So they put out this poster: go and answer the call, don't spare none, kill them all. It is now time to rise, slit their throats, watch them die. So this stuck out immediately to me as gematria, the cadence on this and everything, and each phrase seemed kind of controlled and not, just different, whatever. Again, go and answer the call, don't spare none, kill them all. It is now time to rise, slit their throats, watch them die. So I mean, it doesn't flow exactly right, and it seems like it's kind of choppy in some ways, not quite like poetry. It's a little bit too choppy to be that. And so that says to me, gematria, hello. And then guess what? It is. Answer the call. Go and answer the call. Don't spare none. Kill them all. It is now time to rise. Slit their throats. Watch them die. Is all added up to, in simple gematria, 1180. English ordinal gematria, which is simple gematria. This is crazy. Are you getting this by now? I hope you are. I hope you're stunned. Listen, if you're not stunned, you're callous or something's wrong with you. If you're not getting this, all these things I've shown you so far, then these last 2 shootings, and the one in Christchurch, and the Alaska Mosque, and the Notre Dame Cathedral burning at the same day, and all this stuff equating to 11th of August or August 11th, and you don't see this, and it doesn't make your skin crawl. It doesn't. What? It doesn't alarm you? God, I pray for your soul. I pray for you. God help them, please, Jesus. And if you do, be aware of what's coming. Now, I'm going to talk also about, so again, Dome of the Rock is right here. Alaska Mosque right here. For those who don't know, there's the Dome of the Rock. There's Alaska Mosque. They're right there by each other. And this is a really important spot, of course. Well, that's that goes without saying, really. But in a different regard, because this is the spot of the portal, I believe. It's the spot of the Golden Gate. In fact, literally it is, because, well, let me get into this first. In iPad Goat, it shows these, which I think are those military triangular aircraft, possibly, or they could be the bombers, B-1 bombers, or whatever they are. Top of my head, I can't think of the actual bombers. Or they could be these stealth ones that they use, or it could be these ones that are actually huge ships that they can cloak and all that stuff. But they're going to bomb a mosque, it looks like, from iPad Goats. And it's just funny how after these things fly over and bomb this, that it, first of all, it looks like a face, and I think it's Obama's head, the head wound. Somehow Obama may get attacked, or something may happen at that time, or he may get killed or something, but it looks like his face right here is a nose, a mouth, his eye, is a head wound here. But even more important than that, when this, and this looks like a conglomeration of things, but right here, this could be Golden Gate Bridge. It looks like a suspension thing of Golden Gate Bridge. And believe it or not, Dome of the Rock is connected to California and the West. Inside the Dome of the Rock is a big rock, and it's the shape of the western part of the United States. Look it up. It's shaped like the western part of the United States. It's pretty, and with the typography and everything, it's pretty crazy. And so this is connected somehow. And so it just so happens, of course, that the Golden Gate Bridge is, on the West Coast, which is depicted in the West Coast is depicted on the Dome of the Rock that's in the Dome of the Rock. It's crazy. And so this is showing right here. There's a Muslim temple, which I think is very possibly Dome of the Rock or Alaska Mosque, or both. I mean, who knows? He hit this site and it's boom, it's gone. And then here's the Golden Gate Bridge, possibly. I mean, this is crazy. And then check this out. So this is the Dome of the Rock, and Alaska Mosque is over here, and this is the Dome of the Rock right here. Of course, Dome of the Rock right here, right? But right here, down here, this is the Golden Gate. In fact, these lights make it look gold. Right here, you see that right there? That's the Golden Gate. In fact, the Muslims, I think after the Crusades, they sealed up this gate, thinking that they could block the Messiah from coming. Which is just silly. I mean, it's just absolute stupidity. But whatever. They sealed this up in Jerusalem because Messiah won't come now. They won't come. I mean, are you kidding? He won't come now. I mean, are you kidding? But this is the Golden Gate right here in Jerusalem. Okay? And so I think this represents a spiritual gate, the Golden Gate. And again, like I said, Dome of the Rock is connected to the western part of the United States. So there may be some kind of destruction event at the same time. But I'm saying because there's this this holy day on the Tish B'Av, which is the destruction of the 2 temples and other horrible things that happened to Israel and Jews, the Jewish people at this time, it's crazy. So it's just crazy, okay? And then you can look, for example, on this. I'm just showing you, for example. I could show you so much more, and I just don't have time for it all, and I got to get back to work. I mean, if this goes a bit longer, I still got to provide, of course. So, but I have to take this time out for people. I just have to, and I have to take this time to put all this stuff together when I can, as I can. So right here, this is an example. This is from Pacific Rim. And I remember seeing this and seeing this actual day, and I actually thought of 9/23 at the time, and I didn't even think about what it said underneath that. But here's the destruction of Golden Gate Bridge in this movie, Pacific Rim. You can even watch it and see the beginning. It's the very beginning of the movie, destruction of Golden Gate Bridge with this big monster, right? This creature, and giant creature, right? Attacks right here. Look. And then I was thinking 932 or 239 backwards, or 923 basically. And look, August 11th, there it is again. Boom. So we could see something with Golden Gate Bridge. But my money's more on Alaska Mosque / the Dome of the Rock, something happening, because it's the Golden Gate. That's where I think where the Golden Portal is. Golden Gate Portal is possibly. And that would be, for what makes most sense to me is that if that was attacked on their most holy day, that would make the most sense for 8/11, and that would really begin World War III, and then possibly 11 days later, like I've mentioned, or at the most 13 days later, would be the actual mega tsunamis that finally do it. But this was also encoded. This Grim Reaper over the Golden Gate Bridge was, on social media, and this is also encoded into 8/11 as well. I'm not gonna get into all of that, but and so it may be the actual 8/11 on the Gregorian, or maybe the actual 8/11 on the Julian calendar, which is either 11 or 13 days later. And my money's on 11 days later because of a lot of things. But it could be 13. I could be wrong, because it's almost impossible to figure out the exact days on these, the original calendar or whatever it might have been. I know what God's calendar says, but the sun, moon, and stars and everything. In fact, I was going to share some of that, but the Lord made it very clear to me not to. So what I'm going to say is this. What I know and what I've learned about God's calendar is that the transition time, I believe, is in August. And that's why I put August attacks. So whatever day that is exactly, when the mega tsunamis, when the actual birth of the Antichrist Obama is, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing, okay? But these tsunamis, I believe, will actually take out the Golden Gate Bridge, like shown in, for example, in The Abyss, the movie The Abyss, in San Andreas, shown right there, showing going to destroy the Golden Gate Bridge, and many other movies where the Golden Gate Bridge is destroyed, predictive programming. So we'll see what happens exactly. But I'm saying that August 11th/12th is they're encoding to this day, and all these things, like I've mentioned. There's so much more I could show you, but I just can't get into all of it right now. I just can't. I have a responsibility to my family and things like that, so I cannot. Otherwise, I would spend all day, and I'd have to find a way to make money and stuff besides what I do, and that's not what the Lord wants me to do right now. So it's August 11th/12th is big time possibility. Something's going to happen. And another thing I want to mention too is August 8th. I mentioned in my last video. August 8th is 8/8, and they will not miss an opportunity for some kind of attack or something to happen then. So that I'm predicting something to happen then. And then August 11th to 12th, something's going to happen. I believe something's going to happen. I don't know what and how, and all that. And then I'm thinking, and it could be the whole everything, the whole enchilada could be, the mega tsunamis and the attack on the Dome of the Rock could be on August 11th. So it could be, Israel and United States the same day, or it could be, like I said, Dome of the Rock attacked on this most holy day, and then basically that starts World War III, and then over a period of 11 or 13 at the most days, even though I favor 11, then we'll have the mega tsunamis, and then this whole thing gets lit up in August. And by the way, I want to say one more thing about that. Julian T pointed this out. I think it was last year. When I just started doing this. He said, I think it was last year. He said that George Bush, and he does a video on this. You can look it up, Julian/T, and go to last year, his videos last year, and he does a video about how, I think he's the one that did this. I'm pretty sure it was him. And he said George Bush, the caricature George Bush in iPad Go 2, said August. He was talking, and he said August backwards, and he shows it in a program where he plays what he actually said, and then it's backwards. It's August, or whatever. So I think this is the year, without a doubt for me, because of everything God's shown me. Like I show you with my twin birds and my twin boys, and all this kind of stuff. We're in the time. We're in the season. And I just don't know the exact day, not like I'm supposed to know it, but I'm just trying to give you a heads up of possibilities here. And I favor August 22nd, 23rd, but August 11th, 12th is very possible, and I think something will happen then. So that's where I'm going to leave it. And I wish the best for all of you. And hopefully you see this. If you can't see this, I don't know what to say to you. How do you not see this? You got to be so cynical and so blind. It's just dumbfounding. I can't even fathom that. How could you at least go? You couldn't at least go, wow, something must be up there. I mean, that's definitely planned. Or how did all those match 8-11 or 11-8? I mean, what? You should at least be questioning. I mean, you don't have to take all my word for it. And in fact, you shouldn't. But, consider this for your own life, for your own future, your family. If you have a family, consider this for your family's future. What may be coming. And I just implore you, get close to Jesus right now. If you don't know him, confess Jesus as your Lord and believe in your heart God raised from the dead, and you will be saved. It's like Romans 9, verse 9 and 10. Please. I'm sorry, Romans 10, verse 9 and 10. One of those. A lot going on in my head right now. So I'm leaving at this, and I just hope this blesses you. I hope this opens your eyes. And this is Exalted Lamb 1, over and out.